Okay, it's Thursday, September 15th. This is a SPY pre-open video. You can see here on the daily chart, yesterday at the very end of the day, we had a little bit of a rally here to close that bar neutral. It was, with a half hour to go, it was kind of down here, looking a little red. You can see here on the 15-minute chart, I made a video, and then the last half hour, we did have a little buying. Then, after market hours, you had a little bit of a rise back up to the top of the day, and now overnight you're kind of heading a little lower. So you got this blue range pre-market highs and lows, and it lines up really nicely with what's about to happen next, given where price is going to open at 8:30 Central Time. So when you look at the blue lines, the highs and lows, should we head up with some kind of green bar breakout above the high of the intraday market? That would be kind of above the midpoint. Everything, in other words, the low so far is kind of at the midpoint of the prior day. So anything to the upside that's green and breaks out above that level, you can buy it. Even though at the moment I'm still biased to the downside with this failed two-up week where we kind of went above the high the previous week, moved to the midpoint of that week, and that projects to the low of this week, and we still have 2 days to go. So, and as I discussed, you have this weekly bar right here close by. So if it heads down there, then there's a good chance you'll take out both of these lows. So I'm still looking at that between today and tomorrow, but you never know. In terms of this type of price action, it's a pause day. Another thing is, if you get some kind of buy, I think it's a big bar to head up to reach the next target, and I'm still bearish, so you'd have to be very careful at that point. Let's say you get a buy and the structure is a little up today, and then the next day, Friday, we fail to reach our target, and you get like a 2 up day today and then a 2 down on Friday. That would be a good signal. If you can't, in the very short run on these daily charts, reach your immediate target, and then it turns the other way, and then all the continuity is also back to the downside. That's a really good signal. But we might get, since we're moving down here, we might get the red bar right out of the gates below the intraday, the pre-market lows, which is below the midpoint of yesterday, and we could be heading down to get another 2 down continuation. It's really like 3 days in a row, 2 down. That's a 2 down day. Then you get another 2 down day. So, sometimes those days you get a little exhaustion in terms of, follow through, and that's why you consolidate a little bit. But we're going to see, again, any red bar to the downside, you want to definitely take that. And the tricky thing here is, it's not tricky, but I mean, you want to watch closely. You've tried 3 times to take out these lows down here. 2 days ago, yesterday it tried twice, it bounced. So that's the key breakout level. It's really clear that you have consolidation going on here for now, 3 days in a row. So whichever way this breaks, is the is at least the next short-term move, and biased to break the downside here, just to take out these targets on the daily chart and on the weekly chart. Again, monthly chart right there near the open of the month, to any down move starts turning it red. So everything will be good if in terms of going down, in terms of continuity, because that's projected lower. The monthly chart, if we break below this blue line, will turn red, and the daily chart will also have a red look to it. So if we can get a nice strong opening to the downside, stick with it here, because that does project down to those weekly lows. So let's just see what happens. Again, the question is, do we stay within this consolidation area? You can see kind of these blue lines almost line up with the sideways action developing over the last 3 days, or do we finally break out one way or the other? But again, play both sides, and if you play the upside, just know there could be a failure intraday. In other words, let's say we head up and it looks like good structure heading up, but then some big collapse happens. That happened back here on this weekly bar that ended up turning really red. You had an up opening here that just immediately failed, and you went below the midpoint of the prior day, and that set up, stayed with the big trend to the downside. So if we head up here and something, and you get a buy signal, and maybe in the morning it looks like it's heading up, and then you get a big failure that takes out the intraday low, comes to the midpoint of the prior day, get ready to get short again. But that would be a failure, kind of look to the upside. At the moment, that's not setting up, but you never know how price is going to open. So let's just watch where it opens, keep these 2 blue lines in mind. Anything up or down has to kind of go either above that line and stick to go up, and below that line down, taking out these lows and sticking below there, to continue down. And we'll just see what today brings with a bias to the downside.